Chinese president has kicked off what some see as a high-stakes visit to the United States. Chinese leader Jintao arrived by plane and landed near Washington, D.C. earlier today, who was welcomed by U.S. Vice President Joe Biden and a military color guard, who has been invited to 2 dinners at the White House with U.S. President Barack Obama. And, of course, there will be closed-door talks with the president. Joining me from Washington to talk about what those talks might be about is Solon Simmons. He's from George Mason University. He specializes in U.S. politics and is a familiar face here at CTV News Channel. Hello there. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
So what's at stake in these meetings?
Well, it is an important set of meetings, and it's very high profile, and it demonstrates a kind of respect which hasn't always been on display in this relationship. I would say that what we see in part being played out is, at least on the American side, is a kind of American anxiety. What is the nature of the changing role of America in the world, and how does China play a role in that? You know, big news stories seem to break in the United States the day after Christmas. In 2009, it was the underwear bomber. In 2010, it was a football game, or a canceled football game, in which the former governor of Pennsylvania said that a game between the Vikings and the Eagles would not have been canceled if it were in China. They would have walked and they would have been doing calculus along the way. That suggests something that there's a worry in the United States which is playing out, and I think that in a sense that's going to be on display tonight, or today and tomorrow.
All right, so there's a worry, and then there's the backdrop of North Korea.
Right.
The human rights issue,
right.
The currency. So what's the biggest white elephant in the room, if you will, during these talks?
Okay, well, in terms of the actual substance, right, I mean, the currency issue is huge because it has to do both with inflation in China and around the rest of the world, and it also has to do with American exports. North Korea, the area of influence, military-to-military relations. What is the role of China going to be as a partner in stabilizing that part of the world and other parts of the world? You know, there's a way in which China is setting up a parallel international community. It's almost like the Catholic Church within say, the United States, where it developed its own school system and rivaled the public school system. In development, the Chinese Development Bank it might now be out lending the World Bank. With respect to the Nobel Prize, China boycotted that prize, of course, because the winner was an activist within China, and established its own prize there. A currency, the United States, a dollar is now the world reserve currency, and there's a way in which China would like to see that transformed. Also in military relations and influence in Africa and Asia and elsewhere. So all of those are on the table. This is power politics at the highest level, and it's epochal. It's about a big change. So one can't pinpoint a single thing, and the Obama administration hasn't done so. They've been signaling that they want to talk about all of these matters, and I think that's why you see these strategic talks playing out in the way they are.
So who needs who more then at this crucial moment, this critical juncture?
Very good question. That's a great question, and I don't think that it's clear that either side needs the other more. China is in a precarious position right now. Its growth is incredible, largely financed in some ways by the deindustrialization of the American economy. One can think of it in those terms too. American capital has been crucial in that rise, as has the American consumer market. And you know, the United States obviously needs China, not just simply for its debt financing, but also because it is the source of so much of what is produced around the world. This is a symbiotic relationship, and there is a multipolar kind of framework that's developing, but these are 2 of the most important players, especially if you look 15 to 20 years out. And as I say, it plays out in anxiety on the American side, so too on the Chinese side. There's a sense of the century of humiliation, of a way in which China was left out of development, not simply by the United States, but by the West in general. And that is driving a kind of nationalism. You want to play these things if you're a leader in such a way that you get the politics moving domestically in the right direction, but you don't inflame passions such that there become destructive passions that play out. So both sides are incredibly, need one another to a great extent, and I think that's what makes this so delicate and, in fact, important.
And I might add, complex. Solon Simmons, thanks so much for being with us tonight. Always good to talk to you.